Multimodal communication. We all use multiple modalities to communicate in the most effective way. Modalities can include speech, pointing, gesture, and AAC, and many others, including keyword sign. All forms of communication are valid and should be honoured. So if a student communicates in one way, for example, pointing to a drink bottle when they want a drink, they shouldn't then have to prove themselves by then touching the same message on their device, because they've already communicated that they want a drink by pointing to the bottle. It doesn't matter what level the student is communicating at, you can still help support their ongoing language development. Are there any prerequisites to be using AAC? So the only question we need to ask is, are they breathing? And if the answer is yes, this person is then a candidate for AAC. So AAC does not stop verbal speech from developing, and the research supports this. So every student then has the potential to learn. For AAC to be successful, we all need to work together to understand that everyone uses AAC. Everyone is a communicator and everyone can develop their own communication competency. But through AAC, we strive to understand each other. AAC is their personal voice, and that's why it's so important for a student's AAC device to go with them everywhere. When we are teaching a person spoken language, we will speak to them using our own spoken language. And as a result, that person will then develop spoken language and you can have a conversation. But when we are learning language via AAC, we do the same thing, but we're going to add one extra thing. Because if we just use spoken language to a person using aided language, they're going to be really, really confused. Therefore, when we are teaching a person how to communicate and they use aided language or sign language, it's really important that we use we model aided language to them. So this should be done not just by one person, but actually by many people in the learner's life. So this can include parents, siblings, friends, educators, and others on a regular basis for an extended period of time. It's really important to remember that AAC competency takes time. Okay, so by 18 months, babies have heard 4,380 hours of spoken language. And guess what? We don't even expect them to be fluent speakers yet. But if AAC learners only see symbols modelled to them and communicated to them twice weekly for just 20 to 30 minutes, it's going to take them 84 years for them to have the same exposure to aided language as an 18-month-old who has been exposed to spoken language. And that's why it's so important to keep modelling and working with children and people with their AAC devices. So just remember when you're working with a student that it can take a really long time, and that's okay.